Caimera AI is a powerful platform that makes creating professional visuals simple and professional. In this walkthrough, I'll guide you step by step so you can see exactly how it works. We'll start by setting up your account, then moving into the core features like editorial and catalog images, image to video, and model or background swaps so you can create with confidence. After that, we will explore the advanced tools such as uploading and editing your own images, converting sketches into realistic outputs, and utility options like extract product or resize and pad images, all designed to give you complete creative control. And finally, we have a special offer for you, a discount to help you maximize Caimera AI with its full range of features at the best value, which is in the account setup. Alright, so now to get started, you want to go here into the website of Caimera. You can use the link in the description so that you can get a 50% off discount on their first month when you set up your account. Also, it's an affiliate link so you'll be able to support this channel if you want to use it. And once you're here, you can now start setting up your account by clicking here on Try for Free. And now you will be proceeding into this page. In here, you want to provide your account details. You can sign in or create an account, but we don't have an account yet, so you could just sign in with the email right here, or you could go for your Google or your password in here, depending on which one you prefer. I recommend the Google one as this is the most convenient and easiest way to do it. Now, once you're signed in, you will now be prompted to provide your details. So for this one, it's asking for our name, so I'm gonna go for Kyle Tudors. And then click on Next. In here, you would just simply want to provide your personal information here about you so that Caimera would be able to curate some features for you. So just simply go and enter the link of your brand's website. So in my case, that would be tulisto.com. And from here, I can click on Next. And in here, it's now fetching our brand details of the website that we have provided. So you just have to wait for that. Meanwhile, you can answer this question. What is your role? So for this one, I'm going to say I'm going to go for a graphic designer right here. There's some custom things you can choose not to answer this if you want. And then as you can see, it has now finished fetching our brand details. And now we can see that we have this palette and then website assets in here. The typography or the font used on our website. It has now collected those information. And we're just waiting for the last data, which is still analyzing as of the moment. And there it is. As you can see, we now have the brand DNA in here. So basically, brand DNA refers to the core identity and defining elements of a brand that the AI uses to generate consistent visuals, messaging, and creative assets. And this is what the AI has gathered from our website. Alright, once everything is set up, you can now click here on Submit button at the bottom. So here you can click on Complete Next, and it's setting up your workspace, and now you will be prompted here into the pricing plan. Now, because you have used the link in the description, you will be able to see this notice. So as you can see, it says here, Tulisto has gifted you 50% off for 1 month. And now from here, it will now be automatically applied when you purchase a paid plan. So you can click here on View Plans, and then you can choose which plan you would want to get. Now, before I tell you on what each one is, you want to first select your location here and make sure it's correct here on the top left. Next, you want to navigate here on the top middle. You want to go for monthly or yearly billing. I suggest going for yearly billing if you would want to save as much as possible, as this would give you a base discount of 20% off already. And from here, you would see that you would get a reduced price per month, so that would be the 20% that you're saving in a year. And now let me explain each tier. So first is that we have the free plan. So this would include you 10 editorial images, 1 editorial product, 5 catalog images, 25 seconds of video, and public generations. So this is for beginners who would want to test the platform, experiment with basic outputs, and get a feel for how Caimera AI works without any commitment for bills. And then we have Mini. So this would include a lot of features already for starter people. So this is for small creators or startups who who need more flexibility than the free plan, with enough content generation for light campaigns and collaborative work. Next, we have the starter plan. So this would be for the growing businesses or content teams who need consistent output and more catalog or video capacity to support regular campaigns. And next, we have the Pro plan, which we'll be using to demonstrate Caimera in this video. The Pro plan is for professional marketers, agencies, or brands running multiple campaigns at scale, needing advanced customization, integrations, and dedicated support. And finally, we have the enterprise plan at the highest level. So you could request a demo for this one. So this would be for large enterprises and fashion or retail brands that require bespoke AI solutions, legal protection, and full creative services tailored to their identity. All right, so by now you should have an idea on which plan to get. And now I'm just going to get the Pro plan in here. I'm going to click here and upgrade now. And we will now be prompted into the checkout page. And as you can see, we don't have the 50% off because this is the annual billing. But if you go for monthly, then you would be able to get this 50% off that you will get as a benefit because you use the link in the description. As you can see in here, we now got 50% off on our first month. All that's left is to provide your payment information here on the right side. Click on subscribe. Once the payment goes through, then you have now successfully subscribed and purchased a subscription here in Caimera using a discount with an affiliate link. Alright, once you have now successfully completed setting up your account, you will now be prompted here into the homepage of Caimera. And in here, you'd be greeted with all the features that Caimera would be able to do for you. So in this video, I'll be demonstrating each one and explain how you would be able to use that effectively. And in here is that we also have this left menu here, as you can notice. So basically, this is the same thing as you're seeing in here. And now the first feature that we're going to discuss is the editorial images. So we're going to click here. And now you'll be prompted here into the editorial images section. Basically, this feature refers to the core image outputs you can generate that look like professional magazine style photos. These are polished visuals designed to showcase products, campaigns, or brand storytellings in a way that feels authentic and high quality. So currently, there are 3 methods on how you'd be able to use this or generate an output on this feature. First is you can generate a campaign idea from a brand website of your choosing, or you could direct your scene with a reference image, or use one of these pre-made templates to use as your template. So when you click on one of them, as you can see, you have the option here to use as a template, which we'll be using that later on. For now, we'll be going here and generate campaign ideas from brand website. So in here, you can just put in your website in here. So automatically it's toolisto.com right here, but I'm going to use another website here. For example, I'm going to go for hydratespark.com. You could also go for add from scratch if that's what you want, but I'm just going to go for this website so I can demonstrate how the AI would fetch the product details from that URL that we have provided. Once you've clicked on this button here, it will now proceed in doing so. Alright, it is now done, and as you can see, it has now fetched some details regarding the product. And we need to provide a product category, the SKU if available, and then we have the brand details to help Caimera understand your photography style. So you could go here, and this is the website that we provided earlier, which we said to Caimera that this is our website, so it will use the style from this website in here, and we have the product image fetched from this URL. And in here, you can click on next if you would want to proceed generating the output for using this details in here. So you can click here on next. And actually, I'm just going to go here. I'm going to go for a bottle. I forgot. There it is. And now I'm going to click here on next. And now it's adding the product and it's costing me 40 credits. So take note of your credit spending. You want to look for these icons in here indicating how much credit will be consumed in generating this specific output. And in here, we can generate the editorial photography shoot ideas. So we have the brand reference, additional instructions, and so on. So this is for just generating ideas here. I'm gonna go for the Instagram one. This is this one, and then additional instructions is that this one is only optional, but if there's nothing else specific that you would want to include, then you don't need to put anything right here. But if there is, then you can just put it here. So it will just use this style from our brand. And I'm gonna click here on generate ideas, and we just have to wait for this as it is finishing generating our campaign ideas based on our product and brand guidelines. It is now done, and now we have our result in here. So as you can see, it is now currently using the product that we have inserted based on the reference details that we have inserted earlier on the previous step. And from here, you can click on each image that you're interested in. For example, I'm going to go for this one. I'm going to click on that. And then from here, you can see that it is now highlighted. And then from here, you can click on refine this image. If you'd want to refine that, you could select the image that you would want right here. And if you're not satisfied with the current image, you can just click here on this icon right here, which would generate this image once again that you have selected. Or if you don't like everything at all, or you don't like the idea at all, then you can go for another one. You can refresh ideas. So let's say I'm gonna go for give me ideas for Christmas, and click on refresh ideas, and then it's now doing it again. So we just have to wait for a bit. All right, it is now done, and this is now more Christmas themed. As you can see here on the first image, this is Christmas themed with the winter um, uh, sense into it. And then some more image. This one is also cold, and this one is Christmas light in the background, so it's Christmas themed. Now, if you'd want to be more specific, you can just add more details here on your prompt and click on refresh ideas if there's something specific you'd want to see in this result. But as for me, it's enough, and I'm gonna go with this one right here. I actually like this. And next is that you can click here on refine this image so that you can proceed. And now from here, you can edit this specific image in here. So if there's something specific that you'd want to appear, so let's say that I'm gonna go for add some Christmas light on the door behind the girl, something like that. And then here, you could also click here if you'd want to upload some reference image of the edit that you'd want to be made here in this image. And then you can see the product that we're currently using in here. And you could also click here on create image variations of this image in here. So we'll be doing that later on. So for now, we'll just be going here on edit image and click here on edit. And let's see if it will now make the edit. So we just have to wait for that for a bit. And now here's the result. As you can see, it has now added the Christmas light here on the door as we have requested. And in here on the layers on the right side, we can see that we have the edited, which is the after photo, and we have the before photo right here. So this is also where you could switch back if you would want. Like for example, you didn't really like the edit and you'd like to switch back, you can just go here. And here on the right side is where you'd be able to see your generation history here regarding the outputs that you have here on Caimera. So you could also get into it right here and click on them if that's what you'd want to edit. So now going back in here and going to edit. And now next thing that we'll be discussing would be the create image variations. So it is very understandable already just from the name itself. So in here is that you just need to make your prompt on the kind of image variations that you would want to create from this using this image and with your prompt. So let's say I'm gonna go for a subject, put Christmas costume on the subject and make male and female variations right there. And in here you can add a model if that's what you'd want. You can click here and then you can select from one of the models here available on Caimera, or you could create a custom model right here, which we'll be discussing later on. But for now, we'll just be going for a preset model in here that is provided by Caimera. So I'm just gonna select one, and I think what I like the most here would be this one right here. I'm gonna click that, and then we have now selected that model, and here we can go for the mood reference in here. So basically just the mood of the whole photo or image that you'll be generating, so you can add one right here. But as for me, I don't have anything, so we can just skip this. This one is only optional. So you want to provide photos like this one's right here. And now I'm gonna go here into choosing the aspect ratio of the output. I'm gonna go for 9:16. And then the number of images or number of variations to be generated, I'm gonna go for 2. And in here, you can now click on generate once you're done, and it will now generate 2 variations for you regarding this image with this prompt in mind. And as you can see, it is now in queue, so we just need to wait for that to finish processing. Alright, it is now done, and here's the result. So this is the first image right here, or the first variation. You can see the other one here on the right side, so you can see that right here. And we have this second variation here, so it's like this. As you can see, she's wearing a Christmas attire, which is appropriate for the weather, and this one has some Christmas theme design into the costume or the clothes. So yeah, that is basically it, but I'm not seeing the male and female variations. So that is because we have chosen a model right here, and per variation, you would need to, it is quite hard, I mean, to go for different genders, unless you have 2 models here on your image. Now, next thing to discuss is that we also have the show advanced settings in here. So let me show you on how we could use that. So you can just click here on this button, and from here we have the model prompt and then the background prompt. So first is the model prompt. So this is basically the way for you to edit your model directly, so that you don't also affect the other aspects of your image. So just the model. So in here, we now have the prompt that is currently being used for this specific model that we are using right here. And then next is that we can just customize it right here if you would want to make some changes here. So as you can see, wearing a festive Christmas costume, standing in a relaxed editorial pose with one hand holding the product at their side like the most natural thing in the world. So actually, I'm just going to make some edits in here so that I can demonstrate how effective this can be. So I'm going to specify a red Christmas costume, or I'm going to go for attire. Standing in a relaxed editorial pose with one hand holding the product up, up towards the camera right here. And I'm gonna go and delete this right there. And now is that we have the female and male variation here, but only the female variation was generated. So I'm just gonna go and delete the male one right here, since this is not necessary anymore. Just like that. So you just want to select all of it, and that's it. And yeah, you could also make some changes here if that's what you want here for the female variations prompt here at the second paragraph. But I don't want that anymore, just this one. And now I'm going to click here on create, and let's see what changes will be made. Alright, so now here is the result. As you can see, the character now is holding the product here up towards the camera on the other arm, and the other arm is tacked in, and also it is now wearing a red Christmas attire as we have indicated in our prompt. So that's cool. And then we have some more other variations in here that I have generated. So yeah, that's the model. As you can see, we have edited the model directly, and now we can go for the background prompt. So this is editing that is more focused on the background. So now in here, let's say that I'm gonna go for I'm gonna go and delete all of them, and I'm gonna go for a completely new background. I'm gonna go for a snowy field with a large Christmas tree on the background, and click on create, and let's see what it does. Alright, it is now done. As you can see, the image just looks so much better now, in my opinion. It is looking really good. And the one that we have edited this from is this one right here, as you can see. And the pose is still very similar, minimal changes only. As you can see, still the same pockets. I mean, the hand is in the pocket, and so on. So, yeah, this is basically it for the background prompt. Next is that we also have some more other features here. So here on the left, top left menu, we can see this one right here. We can upscale the image to a higher resolution and add more details if that's what you want. And from here, you can now have this mini pop-up right here regarding the upscale to be applied. You can go for image similarity. So this refers to how much the AI will maintain the details of the original image. So I recommend just setting this at default. So you can go for 6 or you could just go into 5. You don't want to go too high or too low with this. And then basically what this means is that a lower value here is that this would mean that you will allow the AI to add more details to the image at the risk of changing the image too much. So that is why I just go here, because I don't want it to change too much on this image. And then you can upscale by 1 or 2 depending on how large you would want your upscale to be. So let's say just 2. I'm going to click here and apply and wait for that to finish, and then we should now be able to see the result after that. And while we're waiting for that, is that we could also resize the image right here. You can click here on resize image, so you can crop that if that's what you want. As you can see, resize it that way, and however you'd want to do it. So that's it. And then you could also move or position the image just like so regarding your crop. But as for me, I'm just going to go and cancel this. I'm just going to go and click here so that we can go out. And then here we have the upscale already done. So we're going to click here on upscale. So this is the upscaled version. As you can see, it is now much clearer and high quality compared to this one right here. You'd be able to notice the subtle difference in there. So when you zoom in, it will not be as blurry. And next is that we could also insert a product image here using this feature. You can click here. So when you click on it, you will now have this pop-up wherein you can now select the product. But in this image, I already have a product, so I don't want to apply another product in here. And you can go here to this list to see all the products that you have added here in Caimera. And note that only those products that was added into your Caimera account will be seen in here. You will not be able to upload a product directly from here. And then you would have to brush where in the image you would want it to appear, just like this one, brushing just like that. So I'm just going to cancel this because I don't really would want to insert another product. And next is that we have this one. So you could also post this into social media directly from here. If that's what you want, you can post that. And you also could request manual edit in Photoshops. So in here, you can now see this one right here. So you just have to answer on what edit you would want to be made in here so that it will now be sent into the staff here in Caimera, and they would be the one to edit that and make your request come through. So in here, you would have to choose. Let's say I'm gonna go for fix product accuracy, and let's say fix the product brand name. Just maybe something like that. Maybe the spelling or word is jumbled up. And then you can click here on send edit request. So this would cost you 30 credits. And then they would get back to you as soon as the photo is edited and ready. So that's basically it. This is also another great way for you to make use of your credits and make sure that you get what you want, because an actual professional human would actually make the edit here using your prompt or note. So that's it. And now the last buttons to discuss here would be this buttons here on the left side, wherein you can add a comment here if you're working together, or if there's something that you would want to remember, you can just simply add a comment here regarding this project. You could also go here for some more information regarding this project. You could click here and compare if you would want to see in comparison view whether your product is actually accurate here in the actual result compared to the product image that we have uploaded. So as you can see, it's actually really good. And next is that you can click here on download if you would want to download it right now. Alright, so now we're done here with the editor. Now let's go back here into editorial images. We have also already discussed generating campaign ideas from brand website. Now this time we'll be going for direct your scene with a reference image. So in here, you can just add a reference image um, that you would want to use for an inspiration, hence reference. So in here, I'm just gonna go for upload. I'm gonna click here and it will now scan my device. And from here, I'm just gonna go for this one right here that I have made. So it's now currently uploading, so we just have to wait for that. And there it is. So this is the vibe that I'm going for. And Caimera will reference all details from this image as background, model, pose, expression, and so on. So take note of that. And once you're ready, you can click here on next. And then you can now add a new product. And from here, you can now upload a product image right here. So as for this one, I'm going to choose a product image in here. So let's see if I have some right here. So I'm just going to choose this product poster that I made. I'm going to click on that, click on open, and it will now be prompted here. Take note of the resolution or recommended resolution here, by the way. You have to follow that or else you wouldn't be able to upload an image here. So here it is. It is now uploaded. And next is that autofilling product category name field. It's fine. We can just manually do it right here. So I'm going to go for bottle. And product name, I'm going to go for Hydrate Spark. And then you can now add brand details to help Caimera understand your photography style. As for this one, I'm just going to go for my website. And then once you are done, you can now click here on add product. And then you will now be able to proceed the same way that we did earlier. And you will be prompted back into the editor once again. And yeah, that is basically it. And then last method would be here on the template. So you could choose which template you would want. For example, I would want this one right here. And then you can click here and use template. And now you can add a new product or existing product. So I'm just going to choose this one, existing one. And then from here, you could now see that these are the images. And you choose the aspect ratio in here. I'm going to go for 9:16 and click on generate. And then from here, it will now generate as the images that is relevant to this template in here. Alright, so now here's the result. As you can see, it is like the template and now it is replaced with our product in here. I think it's really good. And if you want to make some edits, you can use the editing page just like this one here once again. So you already know how you can do this. So yeah, that is basically it for the editorial images. Next feature that we'll be talking about would be the catalog images. So in here, this is all about creating clean, product-focused visuals that are perfect for e-commerce and online stores. Unlike editorial images, which are styled like magazine shoots, catalog images are designed to clearly showcase the product itself. So in here, you can click here on Create New Job button to get started in creating your output in here. And now you get to select a model. So you can go here and browse what model you'd like. So they have a large library of models to choose from in here. And you have some categories, male, female, and kids, depending on which one you'd want. So I'm going to go scroll down and maybe there's something that I would like to use in here. And I would want to use this one. So I'm going to click here. Now you want to click on next here on the top right so that you can proceed. Now you can select the pose for your model. And as for this one, I'm going to go for something that would be appropriate for a water bottle product. Let's see. I think I'm just gonna go for this one. Let's see. Just like that. And then now next is that you want to select a mood here on the right side. So I'm just gonna go for joyful in here. And then you can click here on next on the top right. You get to select a background. So very simple. I'm gonna go for this one. And then you can click on the aspect ratio here first. You can choose which one. So I'm just gonna go for the default 3:4 and go into next. Now in here, you can now create a new outfit. So from here, you can select either you'd want a full dress or a top plus bottom, depending on what type of clothes or outfit you would want to make your model wear. And here, it's important that you understand this notice. You should go for images like this one right here. As you can see, they are very easy to understand for the AI and not like this. So as you can see, they are angled, it is wrinkled, and so on. So you want to make sure that you take it from the best angle possible and quality possible. So now next is that I'm just gonna go for full dress in here since I have a girl model. I think a dress would look nice, but you could also go for top plus bottom if that is what is appropriate for your product. In my case, I'll just go for a full dress and change type. And then from here, you can click here so that you can upload the image of the garment or outfit or dress that you would want it to use. But as for this one right here, I'm just going to use the sample right here. I like the white one. I'm going to use that. Click here. And then the footwear, you could choose that right here. You could also select the category and then you can upload a photo, same thing. Or you could just make it barefoot if you'd want. As for this one, I'm going to go and make it wear this heels. So it's just sample. And then from here, you can now click here on add outfit. And then you will now be able to see that we now have it right here. So now you can click here on review credits right here. So these are the outfits. You want to confirm that. And then these are the poses that we have selected. And now you can click here on run job and it's gonna cost 10 credits. Take note of that. It's very important that you monitor your credits closely. And from here is that you will not be able to change the outfit or poses for this job after this step. So take note of that. I'm gonna click here and continue so that it could now be processed and we just have to wait for it. All right, it is now done. And now we have this result in here. So now you would now be able to click on that and then you'd be able to see that we have this product in here and it is now currently worn by our model of our choosing, and it's also wearing the footwear that we have indicated. And you can see the pose in here, so it's very similar as you could see. And next is that you could also click here and edit with prompt if you'd want. So you could edit it from here. And then you could request post-production in here. So again, this is the Photoshop feature that we discussed earlier in the editor. So you can make requests to the staff here in Moz. And then you have some more options, copy the prompt ID, compare with original, and more. And now once you're ready to use this, you can click here on download. And then you can now choose the download options. You can click here on download and it will now be downloaded into your device. It's that simple. So now you can go back here into all jobs and this is where you'd be able to see everything. And if you'd like to try again, you can click here and create new job once again. Now, next feature that we have would be the image to video. So as for this one, the function is already in the name. It would transform your image to the video. And in here, you just need to click here into uploading your start frame because this is absolutely necessary. You can choose your image in here. And as for this one, I'm going to use this poster of my product. And then now you can go here into video prompt and then you can give video instructions on how would you want the video to be or how would you want the result to be. So I'm going to go for add some movements on the product. Also make the water splash on the background have move a bit. And then here in the end frame, you could also upload an end frame right here if there's a specific frame you have in mind that you would want. And you can add a new clip. And then from here, you can add as many as you'd want so that you'd be able to do a lot of frames in a single video. So that's how you'd be able to do it right here. So I'm just going to be doing one frame. So we only have the start frame for this. And actually here in the end frame, I'm gonna go and upload the same one because I would want it to be a loop. So there it is. And then next is that you can click here on select your model. You can go for Cling 2.6, Cling 3.0, and Pro. So they would consume variable credits depending on the model that you choose. So Pro is the highest one, so I'm just going to use that. And in here, you can check this if you would want to automatically enhance your prompt with more details for better generation. So I highly suggest enabling this if you're just making your prompt from scratch. And then next, you can now click here on generate and it will now process your video. Alright, so now the result is now here. So now let's play it and let's see if it's actually any good. There it is. As you can see, there is now movement on the product. And as I indicated, there is also water splash movement here at the background. So exactly as I have instructed in the prompt. So overall, I'm really satisfied with the result. So that's basically in one example on how you can do this here in image to video. And as you can see, it is on loop because I have the same end frame and start frame. So there is a smooth loop right there. So that's how you can use that. Next feature that we have would be the model or background swap. So it's already understandable from the name. So you'd be able to swap your background or model in here. And then to get started, you can click here on create new job here on the right side. So in here is that you will now be able to select the model that you would want to use. For example, I'm going to go for this one. And in here, you can swap the entire model. So this would be for the consistent skin and ethnicity changes. You can enable that if you don't want, but I'll just leave it be. And click on next once done. And now you can select the background that you'd want to use. For example, blue. Click on next. And here, you would want to upload the item. And take note of the guideline in here. So you want to make sure that you upload items just like this one right here. Because this images doesn't work. So you want to avoid uploading flat layout, ghost images, formless mannequin, and shoes without legs and images. So you want to make sure that it's like this when you upload your product image in here. Or just like this one, as you can see. And we also have some demo products. So as you can see, these are the examples also that you could use. So you can click on one of them right here if you just want to test the feature out. And then you'd be able to import that specific demo product here into this job. Or if you upload an image in here, it will also be uploaded in here. So you should see that. And then once you're all good with this step, you can now click here on review credits. So in here, you'd be able to see how many credits this would cost. So since we're just using a demo product, it's only 0. So we can click here and start masking and just some confirmation that this will cost 0 credits. And this is a final one because you will not be able to change images for this job after this step. You can click here and continue once you're sure. And in here, you can resize your image if you'd want, but I'll just keep that for now because I think the image is already perfect. And in here, you'd be able to see the masking, as you can see right there. So you want to make sure that it is correct and it is well masked. And then once you're done, is that you can now click here on styling to proceed to the next step. And in here, confirm product mask. So you want to double check your mask in here if they're all good, if they really cover the product that you are trying to portray. And in here, you can add accessories to your model. You can click here and add accessories. And then here, you can describe the clothing, the jewelry, and the footwear. So, for example, you can go for, I'm going to go for a hoodie. And you can go for jewelry and accessories. Actually, I'm going to go for something specific right here. So I'm going to go for red hoodie. And jewelry and accessories, I'm going to go for gold necklace. And footwear, I'm going to go for all white shoes. And then hit enter to add. And then take note that we have this one right here. So you can go for low, medium, or high. So this would basically be the intensity of this specific accessory or garment that you have added in here. So if you'd want it to be very dominant in the image, you can go for high, you can go for medium or low depending on the intensity. And then you can see more guidelines here. When you click on this button, you'd have more explanation here. And then once you're done, you can click here and generate a preview so that you'd be able to see how it would look like. But I'm just going to skip this because it's going to take a lot of time. So it would be a couple minutes for it to generate. And once you are basically okay with the result in here, you can click here on run job, and it will now need some confirmation. If you'd want to add this 3 styling option, you can click here continue to run job, and then it is now styling. Now you just have to wait for it, so it's gonna take some time. As you can see, it says here 5 minutes. And now let's just go back here into all jobs so that we can see everything. So I'm just gonna demo this as an example because I have already done this. In here, I have chosen this item. So as you can see, with this one right here, it's not quite good because I have this one right here. It's some kind of jeans from the model, and I don't have any model here, just the item. So it didn't do well with this specific item. So yeah, you could click here on show mask so that you'd be able to see the mask of the item in here on how well it is. And then here is the shirt or a product shirt that I did, which is actually pretty decent. So now I'm gonna click here, and yeah, so basically I specified here the red shoes for the accessory section, if you remember earlier, which it did pretty well. And there's also some accessories that I'm seeing in here. And yeah, that is pretty much it for this model. So you'll be able to generate images just like this one in here. And you have these options once again. You could regenerate if you're not satisfied with this image. And you could also request post-production in Photoshop if needed. And you could also edit mask and regenerate if you think the mask wasn't good enough for this. So you could click here, and basically it will now prompt you here. And then you could now modify the mask of your item in here. So you want to make sure that it is well shaded or well masked. So yeah, that is basically it for this feature. Next feature, we have the upload and edit. So basically you can just upload or drag an image in here, and then you'll now be able to edit it. So for example, I'm just gonna go for this image right here again, click on open. And from here, you can confirm that you have legal right to use and modify this image. You can click here and upload and start editing. And then once again, you'll be prompted in here into the editor that we have discussed earlier. So basically the same thing. And here you can make your prompt here to make the edit here on this image. Here you can add reference images. You can select or add a new product to use in the image. You can select that right here if needed, and then you could click here to insert a product into the image once you have selected one right here. And yeah, that is basically it. And we also have some other method in here. You can create one from scratch. So you can describe the image that you'd want to create. And then some settings in here. You have the generation model. So Gemini 2.5 Flash, 3 Pro, 3.1 Flash, depending on which one you'd want. So take note that the model that you would choose would affect how much credits you'll be spending on this. And then you can select the aspect ratio of your result. And then here we have the photo. And then basically this is the enhancement style of the photo. So as for this one, I'm gonna go for graphic, for example. And here brand aesthetic, you can go select your brand in here. I'm gonna go for this one, and I'm just gonna make something here. I'm gonna go for a water bottle campaign graphic for Christmas. It's that simple, very generic, and let's see what the AI would do with this. And then you can add reference images. If you'd want, you can click here, and then you can now add your reference images. So for example, I'm going to add this one right here so that it would be able to get some style here from this image. And yeah, this has now been added in here. You can click here on generate, and it will now generate for you in just a minute. All right, it is now done, and here's the result. As you can see, it's very similar here to the reference image that we have added, but now it is Christmas themed, as you can see, with the Christmas elements. And we have this Christmas ornament in here, some snowflakes and Christmas lights and so on. So yeah, this is a pretty good feature in here. So we can create from scratch, and from here we can now make edits into this output that we have just generated. You can type it in right here and so on. So that's it for the upload and edit. And now, next feature that we'll be talking about would be the sketch to image. So in here, you have two options. Either you would want to convert your sketch into an image or your image into sketch, which is just vice versa. So you have the toggle in here so that you can switch between two modes. So first, let's go for a sketch to image. And in here, you want to upload or drag your image here of your sketch. So we can make it realistic. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to go for this one right here. So I have generated this sketch right here from image to sketch. Now let's see what it would do with this particular sketch that I have uploaded. You could also add material image if you would want to add something here into your sketch, and then you could go and provide the instructions in here. But as for me, I just want this one to be realistic, so I'm just going to go with it. And you could also upload pictures of your drawings here, by the way. That could also work. So yeah, this is a really great tool, especially for those who have some artistic talents. And you could add more images right here if needed. So you can upload more if you want. And then here we have the output style. So first is that we have flat lay. So this is basically a photo style where products are laid flat on a surface and shot directly from above. So this would create a clean, organized look, or often used for fashion items, accessories, or product bundles, which is perfect for e-commerce listings, social media posts, or showcasing multiple items together. And we have the ghost mannequin. So this is a technique where clothing is photographed on a mannequin, but the mannequin is digitally removed, leaving the garment looking naturally filled out and 3D. So this would highlight the shape, fit, and structure of clothing without distractions. So this would be common in fashion catalogs and online stores to give the customer a clear view of how you would want the clothes to look when worn. So as for this one, I'm just gonna go with flat lay here because this is a poster style sketch. So I think it would be great if it will be applied here with flat lay. And then we have output resolution. You can choose 2K or 4K. So mind the credit spending here. I'm just gonna go for 2K and click on generate. And from here, we just have to wait for it to finish generating. And now here is the result for the flat lay. So basically it just took out the product from this sketch and also the text right here, which is at this point right here. So yeah, that's the only thing. The other elements were not included, so I'm kind of bummed with that. So now let's try Ghost Mannequin and let's see the difference in the results. So I'm going to click here on generate. Alright, so now here's the ghost mannequin result from this sketch. So it just really took out the product, and just I have mentioned earlier, it did highlight the shape here, the fit, and the structure of the item without any distractions. As you can see, it's only just the item. And now moving on to image to sketch. So this is basically the opposite here of what we just did. So now let me just refresh the page so that we can get started right here without anything else. So now in here, you want to make sure that you click here the toggle, and then here you want to upload or drag your image right here. So minimum of 1, maximum of 100. Same goes for sketch to image. So I'm going to click here. And this time, I'm going to go for something different in here. So let's say this poster that we had earlier. So if you remember, we already used this poster. So I'm going to go and make that. And from here is that I'm going to go and choose the output resolution to 2K only and click here on generate. And let's see what it will do for us. Alright, so now here's the result. As you can see, it is really good and it is very accurate to the drawing or the image that we have provided in here. So overall, I'm really satisfied with the result here. And now, what you can do with the image right here, by the way, with what you have generated in this feature, you could download it here on the left side. As you can see, we have the download button, and then we also have the compare, the information regarding this project, and an add comment, and some more buttons here. Basically the same thing as we did in the editor. Alright, so now next is that we have the extract product feature. So this is designed to isolate a product from its original background or context. You can use it to reuse in clean, professional visuals. So this is a very simple feature. You just need to upload your image in here that you'd want to extract the product from. And I'm gonna use this one again, and let's see if it would actually be able to extract the product. And in here, as you can see, we have some warning. One image below is below the ideal size. For best result, upload images of at least this much pixels. So you want to take note of this, but you can still proceed because it is uploaded right here. But yeah, it's just a recommendation for the best results. So I'm just gonna go through with this. And in here, you have the product to extract. So if the product here is not quite clear, then you can provide the AI some more guide on what to extract here from the image. But in my case, I think it is very obvious on what the product is here. So I don't need to provide some more instructions. And again, you can add more image here if you would want. So now I'm going to click here and generate, and let's see what the results would be. All right, here's the result, and the result is actually not so good because, as you can see, there is now a hole here, and we can now see the straw. So that's not quite accurate here to the image that we have. So now let me just go and provide more details here. So I'm gonna go for extract the phone and the tumbler, and that's it. Let's see if it would be able to make that better. Alright, so now here's the result, and as you can see, it is now so much better. So sometimes you just need to provide the context in here so that you would have the best result. So you want to make sure that you do this every time so that you don't take chances in getting bad results just like we did previously with this one right here, so you can save credits because it would cost you credits each time you generate. And yeah, that is basically it for the extract product. Alright, so next feature that we have would be the resize and pad images. So basically this feature is all about adjusting your visuals so they fit perfectly into different formats without losing quality or cutting off important details. So basically in here is that we're just going to go for pad object first. So they have two modes here. You want to upload your image here first. So let's say I'm going to go for this product in here, this poster. And basically, it will now isolate that product in here and use the padding or padding options or setting here that we've selected. So let's say that I would want to leave some space on the left side of the image so that maybe I can put some text in there. So I would want to go for this value here in the left, and I would want to increase it by 350 pixels, for example. And then you could choose a background color here if you'd want. So I'm just going to go choose black right there, and then from here I'm going to click on shoot, and now you'll be able to see what I mean by that, so that you would have space on the left side now because this is where we have increased the padding on. So we'll be able to see, as you can see right here, this is now empty, and this would leave you space to do something in here like maybe some text or some other things that you would want to put. So this is the use of padding in here so that you don't have to resize the image and the image actually stays still in high quality. And we also have the resize and pad image. So now we have the resize image option. So here we have the padding once again, and then the horizontal alignment, and then the width and the height of the product. So this would be the resizing option. So now is that I'm gonna go for the alignment here, so you don't have to set it manually here. So I'm just gonna go for 50. Bring it back to 50 here, just like that. And now here into the horizontal alignment, we can make it centered, right, or a vertical alignment. And actually, I'm gonna go and make this 550, and then I'm gonna go make it at the right, just like that. It's now on the right, or you could let's go for left this time. And then the width and the height, so I'm going to make it smaller. So I'm going to go and divide it by 2. So that would be 512. So it should now be 2 times smaller than this. And there's some notice here that the width must be greater than the left padding. So I'm just going to go and reduce this into 450. That's it. And then pick the background color. So I'm already satisfied with black. And now let's see the result. Alright, it is now here, and as you can see, the result is horrible. I think we have put way too small here in the values. So actually, I'm just gonna make it as is, but at least now you know that you would be able to resize that by using these values in here. And I'm gonna click here and shoot once again, and let's see if the result will now be better. And now here's the result in here. So take note that the size would also scale depending on the ratio of the padding here and the width and the height. So you want to take note of that. So as you can see right here, with this previous image that we have created, it is like this. And now we have this one right here. So yeah, that is basically it on how you can use the resize and pad images. Next would be the products here in this menu. So this section is basically where you can see all the products that you have added here in this account. So as you can see, we have one right here, which is this one, the one that we first did. So if you'd want to add more products, you can just go back here into editorial images, click here on generate campaign ideas, and basically here click on add a new product. And once you fill the details up here, you can click here on next. And then once you go through that process again, and then you will now be able to see that here listed on the product section. So that's basically how you would be able to do that. And yeah, it's that simple. And then you also have some more things in here. You can also go here into chat with us if you need help here or anything specific that you need help here in Caimera. You can just ask their customer support and they will be able to help you with that. And then you could also buy credits here by clicking here on buy credits, and then you would be able to buy more if you run out of credits, or you could upgrade to a plan. And in here, you'd be able to get this if you use the link in the description so that you'd have 50% off for 1 month if you haven't used it yet. And finally, we have the settings here on the very bottom. So this is where you'd be able to see some more details regarding your plan and your account. So yeah, that is basically it on this tutorial on Caimera AI. I hope this video has been very helpful to you. And once again, if you'd want to get the best deals possible when using Caimera, make sure to use the link in the description. Thank you for watching and see you in the next one.